Alright, so now we're going to take a look at multiplying mixed numbers. So my question for you guys is, how would you solve this problem below? 3 and 1/2 multiplied by 2 and 1/3. How would you solve this? Go ahead, pause the video, and then come back when you think you have it. Alright, so I'm sure you guys got a few different answers here. Maybe you decided to do 3/2 as 3 and 1/2, and then 2 as 2 and 1/3, and then multiplied the whole numbers together and multiplied the fractions together, and I'm sure you got 6, and then on the bottom 1/6, and then added those together to get 6 and 1/6. But now let's think about that. Does that make sense? In other words, let's say I had a regular multiplication problem with two whole numbers, say like 11 times 12. Well, if I split this into 10 and 1, and then over here 10 and 2, I couldn't just do 10 times 10 and 1 times 2, right? Because then I would get 100, and here I'd get 2. And if I added those together, I would get 102. But we know that 11 times 12 actually equals 132. And so this idea of breaking it into its pieces and just multiplying, for example, the whole numbers and then multiplying the fractions together, that's not going to work for us. So let's take a look at what we could actually do. Well, we could create a multiplication rectangle. We remember these, right? So here we're going to do 3 and 1/2, and then break 2 and 1/3 into its two pieces. But we're not just going to multiply the fractions and just multiply the whole numbers together. Instead, we're going to multiply these numbers by both the whole numbers and the fractions. And so let's start with 2. 2 times 3. They're going to meet here. That's going to be 6. And now I'm going to do 2 times 1/2. That would just be 1. And then I'm going to take a look at 1/3 multiplied by 3. Well, that's going to be the same as 1/3 multiplied by 3 over 1, which would give me 1. And then lastly, I need to multiply my fractions. So I'm going to do 1/2 multiplied by 1/3. And if I do that over here off on the side, I'm going to get 1 on top over 6. So now I need to take all of these multiplication answers and put them into an addition equation. So I'm going to do 6 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1/6. And what would my sum be? Well, here I have 6, 7, 8, 8, and 1/6. Notice this is a different answer than what we got here, 6 and 1/6, right? And so it's very important that we set up our multiplication table so we can get the correct answer. All right, so let's try one more here. Go ahead, pause the video, set up your rectangle, and solve it. All right, so here we go. If we divide this into 5 and 1/8, and then 7 and 4/5, then we can do 5 times 7 equals 35. 5 times 4/5, well, that's going to be 5 over 1 multiplied by 4 over 5. So on top I'm going to get 20, and on the bottom I'm going to get 5. So that would reduce to 4. And now I'm going to do 1/8 multiplied by 7. And so here this would be 1/8 multiplied by 7 over 1. So here I'm going to get 7 over 8. And then lastly, 1/8 multiplied by 4/5. 1 times 4, that's going to give me 4. 8 times 5, that's going to give me 40. And if I were to reduce this, I could reduce it to 1 over 10. Okay, so now I'm going to add these all together. But I notice that I don't really have a common denominator right now for these two fractions, 7/8 and 1/10. So is there something that both 8 and 10 both go into? Well, they both go into 40, don't they? And so I'm actually going to go back and keep this 4 over 40, and then I'm going to turn the 7 over 8 into, let's see, 8 times 5 would give me 40, so I have to do 7 times 5. That'll give me 35 over 40 plus my 4 over 40. And then I have to add my whole numbers still, right? 35 and 4. All right, so amongst my whole numbers, I'm going to have 35 plus 4 equals 39. And then if I add my two fractions here, I'm going to get 39 over 40. So then when I add that all together, I'm going to end up with a final answer of 39 and 39/40. Now that one was kind of complicated. I promise they all won't be that long. But we have the idea there, right? We need to multiply the fractions by also the other fraction. We also need to multiply by that whole number as well. All right, hopefully this makes sense. You're going to have some problems like this on your homework. Good luck. Thank you.